A map that I created with a team of scientists has finally been published in Human Brain Mapping. A big mission of Onda is to explore who we are through this lens of neuroscience, but it's really important to me that I share an insider look at the scientific process and what it takes to even make the claims that we do about the brain. And also, selfishly, I really just want you to go on this journey with me of what it is that I do. So yeah, I hope you'll come with me. This was such a special project because it came from someone actually donating their body to the university and allowing us to dissect their brain after they had passed. With that, we were able to create a whole new map of this small part of the brain inside of the thalamus that has rarely been studied up until now. And so the brain was taken out of the body, and we were really interested in mapping this part of the brain, which it has kind of a long name, just hang on for a second. The paraventricular nucleus of thalamus. We think this area is interesting to study because it seems to have important ties to how we handle emotional things in our world. Specifically, we think it communicates to a whole network of brain regions and interprets signals from these regions about emotional stuff. A really big part of my PhD dissertation is to figure out what is going on with this region, or at least start to. And to do that, I needed to double check that the map of this area of the brain is really where I think it is, especially when we were studying living brains inside of an MRI scanner. So to map out this specific part of the brain, we needed a group of scientists that had a very special set of skills. And usually in research, the first author in a paper is the young scientist that is leading the experiments. It's usually a student or a postdoc or somebody a bit more junior that is the main person assigned to the project. But in this project, there was two of us, myself and another MD PhD student. And it was because this project had two major components. One where we needed to identify the actual cells inside of this part of the brain. And that is not my skill set. That's Maddie, my co-author's skill set. So she was able to actually label the cells, the neurons, inside of the PVT using something called a calretinin stain. It's this special stain. You can read about it. But that was her job. And before she got into doing that, we imaged the full brain inside of an MRI so that we had kind of a lay of the land and made sure that later we would be able to map on Maddie's results of the different cells onto the full brain map. My job was translating where she found those cells inside of the brain back into a 3D map that we could use inside of different neuroimaging studies, so that whenever we have people come into the lab and we want to collect activity information inside of that part of the brain, we knew where in the brain to look. In addition to bringing that histological or cell staining information into the 3D space, I also double-checked that the new map that we created of this region didn't significantly change results that had been previously published about this region. Meaning, I needed to make sure that what we said about the activity of this brain region wasn't totally wrong. And I was able to show that in this paper, that the new map didn't really make a huge difference on the level of what we call fMRI, or brain activity. And so this was kind of a side quest project in the grand scheme of my PhD planning. It wasn't exactly something that I thought I was going to be doing for a year and some change, but it's turned out to be a really critical part of the PhD process, because now I can do more studies about the PVT in this region, feeling confident about where in the brain we're looking, and at the same time, I can still feel confident about the results that I published in a previous study where I looked at what happens to this brain region in depression. And you can read about that in Discover magazine, where I was interviewed by a journalist about it. Or you can read the actual article itself. Okay, that's a quick science update for you, and I'll see you soon. Cuídate. Nos vemos.